Rochester, New York. I'm a computer technician and stay-at-home dad. And it's our role as parents that got us involved with Relive. Many years ago, our boys were diagnosed with a genetic disorder called Sanfilippo syndrome. It causes mental retardation, hyperactivity, and a compromised immune system. Because of their hyperactivity, they weren't sleeping through the evening. Even with tag team parenting, my wife Deb and I were getting maybe 3 hours sleep a night. And we were exhausted to the point of tears. Well, some friends saw how tired we were and came alongside and shared these products with us. And after the first month, the boys' sleep patterns had leveled out. By the second month, the constant bouts that we had with colds and ear infections had ceased, and even John's ear infections. His allergies became manageable. Well, that in itself was fantastic. But the doctors explained that Sanfilippo is degenerative. As the boys were to grow old, they were to lose strength, skills, become wheelchair-bound, require the use of feeding tubes. And due to respiratory issues, the average life of a Sanfilippo child is 14 years. The doctor said there's no cure. Just take them home and love them. Well, we were crushed. But because of the initial results we had with the products, of course, we stayed with them just for those initial results. But as the years progressed, the programs that they're in, they have it documented through testing that they were maintaining strength, maintaining skills. There's no feeding tubes or wheelchairs in the house. And my youngest, Jason, is 25 years old, and next month we're going to be celebrating John's 29th birthday.
Wow.
The quality of life is far beyond what the doctors had prognosed. They're active, and they keep us busy. So, and currently we have to take the Relive products just to keep up with these guys.
I bet you do.
So, one of the things that the couple that shared the products with us, they did a rather nifty thing. They suggested / insisted that we take the products along with them. We agreed just to see what was going on with them because they're vocal but nonverbal. And after about a month, because he did a health survey with us, they asked us questions. Says, "Hey, Rich, how's those chronic morning headaches of yours going on?" And I said, I'd forgotten all about them. And then by the second month, I actually was developing a rather severe arm ache on my left arm, which had me concerned because we needed to take care of these guys. And so I moved my arm around and says, I don't recall having had pain in an arm for a while. So it's kind of nifty that the pains that you forget about, and because they did great follow up with both Deb and I that we were able to see benefits within a few months, just for myself. Deb has some of her own stories as well. Okay, I'm going to let Deb take over if I may.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, Bill.
Yes, hi, Debbie.
Hi. Well, I always smile when Rich shares what our results were because and what happened with the boys because he always mentions about we were lucky to get 3 hours of sleep at night and that may have been him, but I swear I got less than that as the mom in the house and I just remember every day putting those kids on the van and just crawling into bed to grab some sleep before they came home because we were just so darn exhausted. So one of the first results that I had was that as the boys were getting their results, I started noticing that I was waking up in the morning refreshed, even with the little sleep we were getting at the beginning. And daily headaches went away. I used to be really stiff when I got up in the morning. It took me a while to get my whole body moving, and I just was able to get out of bed, felt refreshed with little sleep. And even to this day, it's amazing to me that I require as little sleep as I do and still am able to function well. And I work as a proofreader full time at an advertising agency. So I'm really, really busy. I have to maintain, be sharp in the middle of my day, and I just really credit the Relive products for allowing us to, like Rich says, to keep up with the guys and do what we do every day. And the other part of the boys' story is the fact that when the doctors gave us that really devastating diagnosis over 22 years ago, there was nothing on the horizon for any kind of treatment or cure. But now, as the time has gone by and medical science has been doing its thing, we're able to share now that there is some real positive research going on, and it's in the clinical trial stage for possible treatment or cure at several different research hospitals around the country and around the world. And so our goal now is to just keep on giving these wonderful products to the boys, and just who knows whether or not what we had thought was just an impossibility, that there was, Relive is not a cure for what they have, but it's keeping their body strong while we're waiting for that possible treatment or cure. And now there's actually something on the horizon, which as a mom and, thinking about what the future holds, that means more than words can say. It means more. I mean, my cholesterol is down 40 points in my last doctor's appointment once I upped my Allorex, and that's all great. It's really important, to stay off those statin drugs. But you know what? What really is means more than words can say, and such a total blessing in our family is to be able to say that John and Jason are still doing well, and we're hanging in there, and we don't know what the future holds. Only the Lord knows. But,
wow.
We're just so grateful for what these products have done for our family, and we will never, ever be without them.
That's awesome. So appreciate you guys sharing part of the boys' story. How moving is that? The expectation for their future was very grim. And wow, it's just totally different for them than what it was supposed to be. Thank you so much for being on tonight and sharing.
More than
appreciate it.
that.
Thank you. Well, now we're heading over to Colorado. We have the pleasure of having Deanne Lux with us tonight. And Deanne and her husband have had some wonderful results. Deanne, we'd love you to share.
I'd love to, Bill. Hello, everyone. This is Deanne Lux from Colorado Springs, Colorado. We first got involved with Relive 9 years ago. I'm a former educator and public school teacher. My husband, Steve, is now a retired Navy captain. We were looking just to help a family member. That was our whole intent when a person at a potluck line at church turned around and said, "You need to take a look at Relive." That family member was dealing with clinical depression and post-traumatic stress disorder, and she began to get results so quickly that we knew this was something very different than anything else we'd ever tried. And by the way, we had supplemented for 25 years, kind of gagging down 25 vitamin pills, to see what we could do to make a difference, knowing we needed to do something, but never really finding the vehicle that would help us do that for our bodies. Anyway, we came in at the top profit level to get a lot of product on hand for her. We wanted the rest of us to be on this as a family adventure. And so we started getting results too, just kind of right and left. My husband had to come home from Iraq with joint impact injuries. He had congested lungs and sinuses, some post-traumatic stress disorder, and weight gain. And on the same nutrition that all of us were taking, he dealt with all of those. He lost 54 pounds. And he became so excited through the years with what we were seeing with Relive, not just with our own family, but with people that we meet at conferences, from people we were able to help, whoever it happened to be, that he went back to school to become a certified health coach and then a board-certified drugless practitioner. He's not setting up a business somewhere as far as a brick and mortar type of adventure, but he just was really excited and really knows why Relive is so unique and different from anything else on the market and why it works, quite frankly. So that's been his new passion that he's kind of carried through with. And for me, I was dealing with things like hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. So blood sugar lows, weight gain, cranky attitude, being tired all the time, mood swings, food cravings, daily headaches. I'd had 24 years of migraine headaches, years of acid reflux so severe that I thought I was having a heart attack, 35 years of lower back pain, and 22 years of nerve damage from a spinal cord tumor surgery. And you know what? That same wonderful Relive Nutrition has dealt with all of those over time at different rates. But, praise God, we've got this wonderful nutrition to put into our bodies, and our bodies know what to do with it, and they will put it to work wherever they can as they see fit, our bodies. So I love the fact that I feel better at 63 than I did at 53. I got off 6 prescription medications in the first 4 months, and don't look back on any of those particular things I was dealing with, and I thought I was just having to get older and having to deal with it, and I found out you don't have to. One last thing that I will tell you about our family is we have a daughter who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 9. By the time she was 13, they put her on an insulin pump thinking that would help control her blood sugars. By the time she was 16, they said, "Oh, you're also insulin resistant. You're a type 1 and a type 2. I'm going to call you a type 3. And the doctor put her on type 2 oral medications in addition to her insulin pump for her type 1 diabetes. And those medications made her feel just lousy. She'd call me from high school and say, "I can't play basketball today, Mom, come get me." So when she went off to college, she refused to take those medications because she didn't like feeling that bad. But I can tell you, we found out about Relive when she was 21. And she's now 30. She's had better blood sugars than she's had in 14 years. She's had so much hope for her future. She bought a house 3 years ago. She finished her master's degree 2 years ago, got married last year, and she's just completed her 6th year as a teacher. And we couldn't be more happy with our whole family and the results we've gotten. And, gosh, we're going to be sharing this hope with others until the cows come home or longer.
Now, how many children do you have, Deanne?
Just the 2 daughters.
The 2 daughters. Now, one of them was dealing with some skin issues?
Yes, eczema. Mm-hmm.
And what happened there?
Well, I think, and she would agree to this, most of what she had is diet-related. She's a vegetarian and went off to college, and there weren't a lot of vegetarian entrees at the dorm, so she ate a lot of carbs, and that put a lot of sugar in her system. And she came home just itching. Oh, my goodness, she couldn't sit still on the couch for 10 seconds. And so I did some calls, just kind of like what we're doing now, find out what did people use. And we increased her FiberStore product to 3 scoops a day. And within a month's time, that was 90% better. She got rid of all the toxins and the excess sugars that she had in her system. That was an amazing thing. Relive products not only helped her with that, but they helped her with that fibromyalgia pain. And that was kind of something that people have lived with for many years. And for her, it was a shorter term thing because we knew what products to throw at it, So we're grateful. And she's a very faithful and consistent gal taking the products. She also is a teacher. After her 3rd year, just completed that one, working on a master's degree and a high school level, and she's doing really well.
That's awesome. When I think of your story, one of the things I recall, you had that spinal cord tumor and they did the surgery. As I recall, the nerve surgeon had some pretty scary words for you.
Well, that is true, Bill. I woke up from that surgery with a right arm absolutely on fire with pain. It felt like there were 3,000 needles stabbing that right arm all at the same time. I couldn't even stand to have the nurse touch the bed sheet to the hairs on my arm. I had months of physical therapy after that surgery, had to learn to walk again and use my right hand again. And the pain eventually kind of dissipated, but even 3 years later when I went back to see him, my right arm was still numb. I couldn't feel touch. I couldn't feel hot or cold. I couldn't tell if I cut or burned myself. And he said it was permanent nerve damage. Nothing could be done. That after that 3-year period of time, it was going to it'd recover as much as it was going to learn to live with it. But what I can tell you, Bill, is that he doesn't know about Relive, because if he did, he never would have made that prognosis because, my gosh, I think it's called retracing, where your nerves kind of relearn what they have to do. But I'm almost 100%, I've got almost 100% touch back in that hand. I can feel the glass when I hold it. I can feel the keyboard when I type. I can't imagine. Well, I can imagine what it was like because I know it was like for decades prior to Relive. I think 22 years before that started to dismiss. So I love the fact that, yes, I've got my right hand back.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, we so appreciate you and Steve. Thank you so much for being on and sharing tonight.
You're welcome. God bless you.
God bless you. Well, now we're going to head over to Pennsylvania. It's my pleasure tonight to have Jean Benna with us. Jean and her husband Bob are ambassadors, bronze ambassadors with Relive. They've had some wonderful results with the product, and they've also turned around and blessed a lot of other people, made a business with Relive. Jane, we'd love you to share.
It's my pleasure, Bill, to be on the call with you tonight. I'd love to share. You able to hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. I'm Jean Benna here, and we live in Man's Choice, Pennsylvania, a little town in Pennsylvania that isn't too big, but I tell you what, we've made an impact in our little town and the surrounding areas. My husband, Bob, and I have come to Relive, well, it'll be 8 years here in November, and I tell you, this company was not only gave us our health back, but it has given us finance that we thought was going to able to accomplish. We had health issues and contributed a lot of that to, old age. You know, you get old, you're going to get all these aches and pains and hurts. And Bob dealt with rotator cuff damage in both shoulders from different businesses that we had. We live on an 88-acre farm, and we do a lot of farming. And so thank goodness for our children at the time when we started with Relive, that there was before Relive, that they were able to come alongside Dad and help him with things that he could not do with his arms because of the pain that he lived with 24/7. You know, him being on the products, he actually has been pain-free and has full movement back in both shoulders. We're talking almost 7 years now, and so it is fantastic to be able to watch this man go do numerous things on his farm and not deal with any of the issues that he did before. I'm a natural health practitioner by trade. Before Relive, when we were taking a lot of herbal supplements, and again, we thought this is just old age, something you work with. But what we found, Bill, is when we started these products, we found results really quick, and we realized what we were doing was that we were putting nutrition in that was total balance, and that our body could use every bit of it to help bring about healthy cells that would be able to help us to have the health that we have. And, of course, we were excited about sharing with other people. And, you know, we grabbed anybody that was come within, arm length of us and talked to them about Relive. We talked to family and neighbors and friends and just strangers. And, we got a lot of people that started on the products. And we watched them get their health back. We watched them build up their finances. And this is the exciting part of this company, is being able to share with others and watching them receive exactly what you've received and know that you were part of helping them do that. And this company is, I can't talk enough about Relive. It's a company that has the integrity. It's a company that is going to stand behind you. It's a company that makes terrific products that truly, truly do work. I mean, truly, truly do work, and people who take it are going to get results. And our heart also goes to the Claugress Foundation. My husband and I, in the summertime, we run a little food truck one day a week, and we take proceeds out of that. And we have our little can out there, and people put money in to help us donate that to the Claugress Foundation. And I tell you, that warms our heart to be able to see people that are willing to help us to help the Claugress Foundation. And we have a lot of fun with this company, and we have a lot of we've got tremendous, fantastic people, friends that we call friends because they have become friends because of this company. And so we will always share it. And the bottom line, this company has saved our farm from bankruptcy. Back in when we started with Relive, we basically sought this company out for the finance. We didn't look at the health because, like I said, I was a natural health practitioner. We were taking a lot of herbal supplements. I didn't need any more nutrition, I didn't think, but we did need a business. And what we received far more. And Relive has saved our farm from bankruptcy. And you can't imagine, our little daughter is seventh generation on this farm, and eventually will receive this farm. And she's just tickled to pink that we've been able to save it. So we love Relive, and we'll always share it.
That's great. Well, as I think back to your story, I mean, you said you were, and I guess you still are, in effect, a natural health practitioner.
Yeah.
In your bio, it talks about you being kitchen chemist. You guys were mixing and matching all kinds of supplements. As I recall, at one point, I think I heard you once upon a time say you were taking like 45 to 50 different pills or supplements a day.
That's right. That's right.
And yet you still dealt with, and I'm thinking back to the last time I heard you, it was like heel injury and constipation and hypoglycemia and weight issues and arthritis and all these issues you were battling, even on 45 to 50 supplements, and you were a semi-expert in that field. Isn't it amazing how Relive can work without, in such a simple way? Right,
and see, there's where the we really got a hold of Relive when we got the results. The real truth, the bottom line. Anybody out there can share Relive and have the confidence to know that these products are going to work because they are total balance. It's what your cells need every day to make healthy, to help the body to make healthy cells, and there's where we found it because the results that we got, we were taking a supplement, Bill, for 10 to 15, almost 20 years.
Wow.
And still, Bob dealt with his issues for over 12 years. I dealt with mine for over 10 years, and the issues never went away. Now, where would they have been if we weren't taking something? I don't know. But I do know a short period of time in taking the Relive products, we had no issues. So, you can't deny the facts that happened to yourself.
Yeah. And as I recall, you had pain like 24/7 from this heel injury that you had.
Yeah, I had pivot wrong on my left heel and did a lot of damage, just not to the heel, but it generated damage clear up to my hip. And, by the end of every day, it was very easy for someone to take a knife and just cut that leg off. I mean, that's how painful it was. I could not find a position that was comfortable anytime. And my sleep was very minimal because the fact I couldn't lay too much on any side. And all that together, and then to be able to come on the other side of that coin and see, wonderful health and being able to do, work on this farm and being on my feet as a farm wife and, putting up produce and canning and standing on my legs, anywhere from, 5, 6, 10 hours a day steady and have no problems with my legs. It's just, it's such a blessing, such a tremendous blessing. We are so thankful for when we had the opportunity to have someone share that with us. And then on top of it, to be able to save our farm, you can't put a price on that. No one can ever realize how blessed we felt, the fact that, the place that we knew, this is Bob's home place, and to know that it's always going to be ours, it is just fantastic.
One other result, excuse me, that I remember Bob talking about was he had some results with his vision. What happened there?
Oh, my goodness, yes. As a 6-year-old, Bob had a hay wagon go across his head, and it damaged the nerve to the optic nerve in his right eye. And so basically, his mom and dad took him to every kind of specialist that there was on the face of the earth. He wore patches on his eyes to try to strengthen his eye, but basically his vision was 200/50 in that eye, and he basically had no vision. Bob explained that sometimes he'd blink and he'd be able to see, and sometimes if he'd blink again, he wouldn't be able to see out of the eye. But he just taught himself to be able to just see out of one eye. And it's a couple years into taking the Relive product, all of a sudden he has a CDL license, so every year you have to have that renewed for an examination. So he went in to see the doctor, and he examined his eyes, and he sat back and he said, "What are you doing?" And Bob says, "Why?" And he says, "Your vision is improving." And So Bob told him about Relive, of course, and here his vision had come down to 150 over 40. So the following year he went in, and the doctor said, I can't believe this. He said, you don't even need to wear glasses. His vision is 20 over 50. And,
so he went from 200 over 50 to 20 over 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that damage occurred to his optic nerve as a boy.
It occurred as a boy, 6-year-old boy,
wow.
yeah.
All these years later.
All these years later.
Oh, my,
yeah.
oh, my.
Yeah. 50-some years later, here he's getting, and Bob says he still wears glasses only because he's so used to wearing them, but his glasses don't have no vision lens in them. It only has a bifocal, so he can read. And he told the doctor, I'll see you next year and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, but it's amazing. I mean, you think something that old in your body that has gone wrong, and to have these products do something right. It's just, and the Lunarich X, Bill, I'm going to have to put a plug in for Lunarich X. We have watched our distributors and customers and people that we work with, we've watched them get results far quicker than when Bob got his. You know, Bob was 5.5 months into getting results. We've watched people with rotator cuff damage get results a lot quicker. And I really believe it's because it's powerful pectide that we have in our Lunarich X. It's just helping those cells to do what they need to do to line them right so that they can take that nutrition and heal. So I love the products. It's exciting to share Relive, and there's hope out there for anybody. I say,
a lot to be thankful for. My goodness. Yeah. Praise the Lord. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on and sharing some of your story with us tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
Thanks. Well, guys, I have one more guest for you, and what a privilege and an honor. I get to introduce you tonight to Quila Bueller. And Quila is a Presidential Silver Ambassador. It's a big title. She and her family have had some wonderful results, but she has reached out and helped a lot of people all over the country and who knows how far around the world at this point. Built a serious business with Relive. A wonderful trainer with Relive, has a real heart to reach out and make a difference in other people's lives and help people build businesses with Relive. Quila, we're just so glad you're on. We'd love you to share.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go right ahead.
Great. All right. Well, hi everybody. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I just sit listening to all the benefits that the individuals before me that shared have received, and I don't think that forever you can never get tired of hearing the benefits of what our products can do in the business as well. I always like to start my story out by saying you do not need to be sick to take Relive. And sometimes when we hear these incredible stories, we think that. And yet I was extremely debilitated. And my husband and I both looked at Relive two different ways. He was looking at Relive from a business perspective, and I was looking at it because I needed to get better. How we became involved with Relive was actually through my doctor. I was, simply put, a very tired and stressed out mom. I was burning the candle at both ends, trying to be a perfect mother, a perfect housewife, a perfect employee. I was very active in church. I was the president of a primary organization, over a couple hundred kids, and trying to get by on about 4 hours of sleep a night. And the reason that I was doing that is because we were trying to buy a franchise at that time. And the only way that we could do it is that if we could bank all the money, if I worked for a couple of years, we'd bank it all and then be good to go. But I always thought that I was healthy. I grew up, I showed horses, I skied, I always thought that I was healthy. But I literally woke up one day in my mid-20s, and I was pregnant with our first daughter, and I had an incredible amount of complications with that pregnancy. And both of my kidneys were shutting down. And I just remember, I thought, where did that come from? You know, I had no idea what had caused that. But then after I went through that experience, I had 2 more daughters, and both early, spent 6 weeks in the hospital with one, a month with the other, and my doctor said, you can't do this because you're not going to make it. So I thought, well, that's fine. You know, my kids were healthy, and I was happy, and here I am working. And what happened was I was exhausted. And I remember thinking, well, who wouldn't be with the schedule that I was keeping? And I kind of ignored it. But other things started happening. My memory, I closed the garage door, couldn't remember if I closed it. I'd unplug the iron, couldn't remember if I unplugged it. Turn off the stove. I'd have to put my hands on top of the burners to make sure that they were off. I'd have to rub my hands on the sockets of the plug-ins to make sure that everything was unplugged. I just could not remember anything, but I could remember touch. So that's what I would be doing. And my hair was falling out. My skin was turning gray. The whites of my eyes were gray. Every single joint in my body was inflamed. And my muscles were so tight that when I took a shower, it was painful. It felt like somebody spraying a BB gun on the back of my neck. I had a lot of problems with circulation. It was either iceberg cold or really hot. There was never any kind of in between. I had a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and it became a personal victory to get out of my bed, because when I would get out of my bed, I felt like I'd been run over by a truck. And it didn't matter how beautiful the day was or what was going on in my life. I just wanted to stay in bed. That depression hit. And you can't really understand it unless you've experienced it, what it's really like. And I put on a good show for everybody, but the minute that I would come home and close my doors, I would fall apart. So I went to a lot of doctors, and back then, this is in the 80s, they all thought that, you know, it was kind of my head. If you just like yourself, if you could just be happy. And I said, I am happy. You know, I said, there is something going on. And finally, doctors, they diagnosed me with pancreatic cancer. Then they diagnosed me with MS. Then they said I was dealing with lupus and fibromyalgia. That was in 1989. And I just said, okay, so what does that mean? Well, we're going to medicate you. We'll cover everything up, and that will give you about 15 years of a quality of life. I just thought, I don't think so. That would have put me in my mid-40s, kids in high school, and I just thought, no. So I just told them, you know, take my blood every day, but I need to find out what caused me to get this way. So I went out and I started trying a lot of different things that were on the market. And I wanted to get better. I mean, I lived on sugar. It wasn't uncommon for me to have, well, I did. I had either a Hostess Ho-Ho cupcake, you know, apple pie, Snowball, Zinger every day, a package of those. I had a Hershey chocolate bar. I had Lucky Charms. I mean, I lived on sugar. And I just, it was amazing. So I was trying all this stuff to help me, and nothing was doing any kind of a benefit for me. And I was starting to get a little bit angry. And it was in November of 1991 my doctor came to me and he said, I think I have something that could help you. And I just thought, well, so do you and the rest of the world, because I tried so many things. And he started telling me about Relive, and I love what he said. You're going to feel better if you take this than if you don't. It was pretty much that simple. And he encouraged me to take the product as, you know, often as I wanted. He said it won't hurt me, it'll just help me. And so I did. And within 90 days, the majority of all those symptoms had lifted. So fast forward now, it'll be 25 years this fall. And what's happened is I've been able to, you know, be rid of all those symptoms, but I've continued to get additional benefits. My teeth, where my gums are receding, they're all back to normal. I used to have cavities every 6 months. I haven't had a cavity, nor has anyone in our family, since we've been on Relive, and that's almost 25 years. My vision's improved. My cholesterol, which is genetic, has gone down over 100 points. And what's happened is my blood work has changed. And from those capsules, it was kind of by accident that we found out that this happened, but I was taking 4 at night for cholesterol, and I didn't want to, and I thought, well, I'll just take, 10 during the day. And we don't prescribe here, and I'm not telling anybody to do this, but this is what I did. And so I just thought, well, I'll just take 10 during the day. What happened is there's a test called a creatine reactive protein test, and it tests for the amount of inflammation inside your body, and it's through a blood test. And there's a benchmark that goes, and I was always at the high part. I was always a 2.8, and 3 is the highest, and sometimes 3.2. And within 1 year, it was just by accident, it went down to a 0.5. I went down a half a shoe size. I went down an entire ring size. That's how much inflammation was in my system. And I'm now at a 0.3. And what that means, inflammation is the precursor to the diseases that are out there. So, in addition to the other Relive products that I take, I make sure I take that as well. My husband's gotten great results with migraines. We put our children on the product at the time. They were 2 and 4, and now this year going to be 28 and 30. My kids are healthy. Both of my daughters, my oldest daughter is expecting, she's due on Thanksgiving with her first pregnancy. She hasn't gotten sick. She's having a great pregnancy. She uses the Relive products, her prenatals. Stephanie's had 2 babies, used them both as her prenatals. Yes, it's a grandma speaking, but my kids are off. The grandkids are off the charts as far as all the testing, their brain cognitive skills. They're all healthy. So my husband, myself, my children, my grandchildren, my son-in-laws, we all take Relive. None of us are on any kind of medication. So just looking at Relive from that perspective, I would never, ever not take it. Even if there wasn't a business opportunity, I'd always be on Relive because we have saved thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars avoiding doctors, visits, prescriptions, follow-ups, all that kind of stuff. So we love Relive. But there was a business, and my husband was looking for a business. He is a finance major. He's always been a finance guy. We've been married almost 35 years, and he said way back then, he said, Quila, he goes, we need to supplement our income. And I just thought, what did I get myself into? And it was pretty funny, and he just said, looking at the numbers, he goes, we need to do something. Well, that's why we were going to buy the business. So here comes Relive. People want the product because they notice my benefits, and I'm sending them to the doctor. And my husband said, this is the business that we can do. So we came in at the same investment way back in December of 1991, which is the exact same investment that it is today. And, we just thought, well, it has a guarantee. Now we have 100% money back guarantee on that business. And we really thought, what do we have to lose? I was a girl with an eye for a bargain. I never pay full price for anything. And so I thought, I'm going to have product. And back then, the company, we didn't have it where people can call directly and, use their credit card. If they were going to buy product, they had to buy it from you, and they'd send you a check, and then you shipped it. Well, in 3 weeks, we'd recouped our investment, and we made $1,000. And that got my attention because in 1991, $1,000, that was a lot more spending money than it is today. And I thought, wow. Well, we decided that this is what we were going to do. And really, Bill, we never dreamed that it would do what it did. We always knew that we'd have success, but we were just very consistent. The very first year, worked this around my children, 2 and 4 at the time. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, and within $20,000. And I thought, pinch me. I wonder if this is going to stay. Well, the next year we did the exact same thing, and our business doubled. It went to $40,000. And it was at that time that I realized, Relive's going to move on with or without me. It really doesn't matter what I decide. And I wanted to be a part of this. So each year, for the next 3 years, our income went up $20,000 a year, $60,000, $80,000, over $100,000 a year. And again, I'm the mom. It was just an amazing thing. We've continued to grow our business, and for the majority of all of those years, we have earned a significant 6-figure income, and that's been a great blessing to our family. Traveled the world with this company. I remember that one year we had earned a trip to Disney World with several of our friends. We also had earned a trip to Germany, and I was also going to Malaysia, and I'm like, I can't go to all these. And, it was just amazing. I've gone to Malaysia a couple times. I've gone to Australia, New Zealand, all over the United States, and up into Canada and then into Mexico. It's just been fun. We love Relive. And, here we are 25 years later, and we're exactly as passionate about it today, if not even more, than we were when we first started. So it's just something that will always, always be a part of our life.
That's wonderful. Just the powerful health results that you've had, You were in a scary position, not knowing what was going on with so many different issues hitting you. It's interesting that a doctor wound up telling you about Relive. That was interesting. But as I look at your story and I look at the business side of things, here you are in the middle of nowhere. So how did you do a Relive business in the middle of nowhere?
You know, I didn't go from really. I wasn't at the point where I could run into a lot of people, but I knew a lot of people that needed $500 a month. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't, help people that needed the product and call them, because I did. But the strong part of my business built from business. And I knew a lot of people that needed $500 a month. And I just simply told them the truth. If I could show you how to earn $500 a month, would this interest you? And they were like, yes. And so then I said, okay. And I go, I don't have time to go into it now, which I didn't. I was always busy. And I just said, let's set a time and I'll pop over and, see if this is something that might work for you. It might and it might not. But, let's just see. And that's what I did. And we built our business by talking about the business. And by doing that, I was kind of reluctant in the beginning. I just wanted to help people. I mean, I told Jim, I said, I'm not doing the business. And he, well, and that's a whole other story, but we had very interesting discussions, and I remember he just said, I dare you not to share Relive with anybody. And I said, well, I'm not going to. And, he's like, fine. No, I'm fine. And what happened was that I went out, and it was one of those days that I was in town, and it was like my ears had gotten cleaned out. There was a megaphone screaming into my ear, and I was hearing about, I can't afford this. I wish I could do that. I've got allergies. I've got arthritis. I'm like, oh, brother. And I just went to him, and I just said, I don't have time to go into all this right now. I said, but there's something I think that could help you. Let's exchange numbers, and I'll have my husband call you. And I got their information. I went home, and I told Jim, I said, look. And I honestly, Bill, I have like 15, 20 different contacts. And I said, look, all these people want to hear about Relive. And my husband works for the city. He loves his job. It's like playing in his own sandbox. He orders everything in the city. When you're outside, he's probably ordered. And he loves what he does. And he moves things. He's in the office part of the day, outside in his big little tractor things the other part of the day. And he likes what he does. But what happened is he's busy. And he came back to me and he said, and he had to be careful with this wording, because it's like, I know you're busy, but do you think you can help me just a little? I remember I'm like, fine. And that's how our business started. And it was truly one that money was not the motivating factor. We were looking for something long term. We weren't looking for this immediate, satisfaction. We knew with the benefits that I received, and our children, like every Wednesday was doctor day, and after getting on the products, we went to the doctor once a year. So we could see these benefits in our family, and I right off the bat, right off the bat with my benefits, because people were seeing them, it was something that we knew this was an incredible product. And, to have a successful business, you need to have both ends of the bike. You have to have a successful product and a business model and a company that can support the product. And so we have both. And we just started working, and I will tell you, Bill, to our success, we were never, in my opinion, people that spiked up super fast. In fact, I thought we went really, really slow. But we went at the speed that we were supposed to go because of the effort and what we were doing. I think that there's a lot of people in Relive that work really, really hard, but it's the point of working smart. And, we were able to learn things. My mentor was Tom Pennick. There was about 12 people between myself and Tom, and none of them really knew what they were doing. And I wanted to find out from someone that had success. And Tom just taught me to meet people, where they're at, and paint a picture for them of what a future could be if money wasn't, something that everybody, had to worry about. Truly, being wealthy for me, there was really, I remember I wanted to go into the store and buy watermelon, and I wasn't waiting for it to get to the lowest price. That was that time, and the other thing was that's when Costco was coming out, and I could go in and not have a heart attack when I would check out. That was really, that's all that I cared about. And of course, Jim thought about lots of other things. But what it's done for us is we're debt free. And we live in a home right now that has a debt on it that's less than most cars that we could pay off. The money's in the bank. Getting around to figuring, do we move? We now have a daughter that's moving to North Carolina, and the other one's in Colorado. And Bill, what I love is that money is not a factor that keeps me away from seeing my kids, nor is it a factor from us flying them in to see us. And I love that. I don't think that my husband will move to North Carolina. And the other one's in Aurora, Colorado. And I don't know, I just don't know if we'd move to either one of those places. But, it's so nice that I don't have to worry. We have set up a retirement plan that it's truly, I feel very blessed. I read articles of individuals that are in their 50s, and you look at this retirement age now is moving up to 70, and I'm doing stuff today at 50. Well, I'll be 56 next week, and it just is such an incredible blessing to be able to live your life on your terms and do whatever you want. And I am doing whatever I want. I'm able to go into town a couple days a week. I love that, being around people. It's fun. And not having to worry about the paycheck. Just being able to enjoy your life. And that's really what Relive can give you. And it's just a matter of being consistent and just continuing to move forward. And we've been blessed, and we are very thankful.
Amen. You guys are really blessed, and we were blessed to have you share tonight. You're the whole package. You got your health back, you got your finances, you got a freedom of a lifestyle that allows you to be the mom first and work your business around your family rather than having to order your family around having to work somewhere and punch a clock. Time freedom and family freedom, financial freedom, so many things are in this picture of Relive that people can reach out and take advantage of that are here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on and sharing. Love you, Quila, and thanks so much.
Oh, and Bill, on behalf of everyone, the calls that you do each week are such a blessing, and they touch so many people, and we're thankful for you. So thank you for all that you do.
You are most welcome. It's certainly our pleasure. Thanks a lot. Okay, everyone, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Again, this was call 279. This call and all of the other 278 calls are all available through the playback system. I'm going to go ahead and hang up or shut down the recording at this point. I'll come back and give you the call-in information. Hold on.
Your playback is complete, returning you to the previous menu.